started with the first unit, and because of the network issue, I couldn't, manage that. But I tried to keep lecture at 2:30, but then you had 3:30, but then you had your, TNP sessions and some sessions from SESA. So because of some students' request, I, rescheduled it. So if possible, we'll continue with today's lecture only. Otherwise, we can take one more lecture by tomorrow because tomorrow also I'm there. So tomorrow also we can take, or either Monday we can continue. Not an issue. Let's see. So we had discussed about what is object oriented programming. I told you what is the difference between object oriented programming and what is procedural programming. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubt with that? Why C is called as in procedure oriented and why C++ is object oriented?
No, ma'am.
Okay. One more thing. If someone asks you that whether C++ is procedure oriented, you can answer that yes, C++ can also be a procedure oriented. Fine. So C++
Yes.
can be both procedure and object oriented. It is not like that we are focusing on the object, so it is only object oriented language. Fine. Only C we cannot say that it is an object oriented. Now let's see the next topic, that is the structure of object oriented programming. Now we were talking about object oriented programming, and we were saying that we are focusing on the data here, we are focusing on the objects, we are talking about the classes. Fine. So let's go in depth of the terminology which is there in the object oriented programming. Side by side, I'll try to show you that how the terminologies are implemented also. So, okay, before that, I will let you know that if you can, if you have your desktop or the laptops with you, you all can please have any editor with you. Like if you can work with Eclipse, try to have an in your laptop. Install it, you can. And if those people who are localized, they can come and they can install here also with the help of Lab Assistant. So that can also be done. Otherwise, you try to download by yourself C++
Ma'am, VS Code.
compiler. Fine. You try to do it because it will be easy to you to understand the concept which I am taking in the class. I'll show you how it will work, how we can write it down, so you can directly implement it. So it will be easy to understand. Okay. So let's see what is the structure of object oriented programming. Now, I can say a structure or the building blocks, which are the most important, the things which we have to include when we are writing an object oriented code. And these are like classes, objects, methods. Methods are also called as in functions or the member functions and the attributes. So let's see one by one. Now, the first important thing in object oriented programming is a class. So, what is class? So classes, they are defined as in user defined data types that act as a blueprint for individual objects, attributes, and the methods. This is the standard definition of the class. But I will tell you a simple definition. Class is an user defined data type. That's it. Fine. So you can simply say that class is a user defined data type. Is a collection of data members and the member functions. I'll open the board here. Okay, if I'll do that now, I have to stop sharing from here. Otherwise, I would have shown you that with the help of whiteboard. I use Word only then. So see. I'll try to demonstrate you what is class. So in C++ programming, I'll start my code and I'll write down a class. I told you. Okay. So I told you class is a user defined data type. So I'll be writing one class with any name. I can write down here any name to my class. So I will give name as an ABC. This is my class. So if you can imagine this, it is like a capsule. Fine. I can say class is like a capsule which is containing something inside it. Now what class contains? Fine. Now see here, listen, this ABC I wrote it by myself and hence I am saying it is user defined. Okay, and hence I said it is user defined. Now what does class? So I told you in the definition, class is a user defined data type. Fine. It contains data members and the member functions inside it. So I will write down, I will tell you that I am writing a class. I have given any name. जैसे आप structure को declare करते थे, similar way से I have declared here a keyword class and I have given some name to my class. Now I told you class is a collection of data members and the user defined function. So what I will do, inside the definition of class, I will write down some data member. For example, A, comma, B, anything.
Ma'am, I think presentation is not visible.
Not visible.
No, ma'am.
I have shared the screen only, no? I'm doing it on WordPad. Is it visible?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's
What
not
is
No,
visible.
ma'am,
visible
it's
to
not
you
visible.
then? What is visible to you?
You have not
Nothing.
shared the screen.
Blank screen.
Shared it. Okay, I'll try once. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now
ma'am,
it
now
is
it's
Now it is
visible.
visible.
this is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So a class is a user-defined data type, right? So similar to the structure, I'm writing a class keyword here. I'm writing some name to my class. I'm giving as an ABC. You can give any name, for example, computer class. And I told you that class is a collection of data members and the member functions. So I wrote int a comma b. So these are called as in, these are the variables, right? But what is the data type of this variable? What is the data type of this variable?
Int.
Integer.
Integer. Okay. What is integer? It's a primitive data type, right?
Primitive. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Primitive. So it is an inbuilt. It is an inbuilt data type, right? Integer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes. So A and B, these are the inbuilt data type that you know. Fine. So this is, I will say, as in variables which I'm going to declare in the class. So these becomes the member of my class, and hence I will say these are the data members. So what is this? A and B, they are the data members. Fine. Then what I will do? Now this is about my class data members. Now I told you that I am having a class and class is a collection of data members and the member functions. Now what do you mean by member functions? Fine. So member functions are nothing but the method or any normal function which is going to be used throughout your code. Next question is, can I declare a function anywhere in my code? Can I declare? Yes, I can declare.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
in that case, when I wanted to call that function, I don't need to use an object of that class. It will become a different function, and in that case, we can have a concept called as a friend function. Fine. So currently, we are focusing on the class, its data members, and the member functions, and how to access the data member and the member function. Fine. So we are going with the definition. Class is a collection of data members, and next is member function. So I will write down here for the function, for example, input. So this is the syntax for my function. So I would say this is a member function. Now, why it is called as a member function? Why this function is called as a member function? Why it is not called as a normal function? Why it is called as a member function is because it is a member of the class. This function input doesn't have an access to the data outside this class. That means input can only access A and B. So if I want to write the definition of this input, what I will do? I will write the definition here only, right? So anything like I wanted to print here. So for printing some statement I will write. I'm not writing here the keywords because again we have not started it actually, but still I will tell you later that how we have to use those keywords. Again there is an use of the class and all, right? So here these variables A and B, they are accessed here. So A and B are accessed. Right? So who is going to access A and B? Only the input function. So I will say here class is a user defined data type, which is a collection of data members and member functions, and the data members are accessed only through the member function of the same class. Fine. अगर आप बोलोगे कि मैम एक क्लास लिखा है and if at the end I am writing another class after this and there I wanted to use A and B, can I access it? So answer is no. We cannot access. Fine, because here I am talking about the hiding of my data. My data is hidden. You all know about that medical capsule. हम medicines लेते थे, capsule आपने देखा होगा where plastic coated is there and two different colors are there, right? So in that case, you can imagine that as your class. Half portion can be your data member, and half portion can be your member function. But they are dependent. Like member function, अगर आप access कैसे करोगे? By using the object of the class. And data member कैसे access करोगे? Only through this particular member function. Is it okay? And how the class? This is a class. So ending of the class should be shown with the help of an semicolon. If you are not writing a semicolon, there will be an error. Compiler doesn't understand that you are writing a code or your class definition is ended. So this is a normal class definition in C++. Okay. Now when we are working with this, so this is one my important parameter or the what I can say building block, that is a class. Another building block is member function. It is also called as a method of that class. Is it okay? Now let's move on to a previous one. So class, fine. I told you methods. Methods are the member functions which are defined inside the class. Fine. And all the methods have an access to the data members of the class. Is it okay? And every time whenever you are writing the method should be declared inside the class. अगर आप इसको बाहर define करते हो तो चलेगा, but declaration should be inside the class. Is it okay? So whenever you are writing a method should be declared in the class. You can define it in the class or you can define it outside the class. So this was about the second building block. Now the third building block. What is the third? That is an attribute. What is attribute? Attribute, they are nothing but they are defined in the class template and they represent the state of the object. That is how your object is, which kind of data your object is going to store. Right? That is the data members. So the data members, they are nothing but they are defined as an attributes. Now the last one is the most important, that is an object. So what is object? I can define object as in variable of the class. Object is a variable of the class. It is also called as an object as an instance of the class. Object is an entity of a class. There are different definitions of the objects. Object can be an instance, object can be an entity. Object is a variable which is having a user defined type. Fine. So that is nothing but an object. Now so here, let's come here again. So this is a data member. I had said this is a member function. These are also called as an attributes. This is the ending of my class. Fine. Now, when I'm writing this particular thing, अगर यहाँ पे जो मैंने variables लिया है int a and b, I want to take an input from for this numbers A and B. I want to initialize it. So when I wanted to do such tasks, we are having the classes again here. So I cannot play directly with the variables in object-oriented programming. For everything, we do need to have use a inbuilt class. Either we have to create our own class. Fine. So here I had created my own class. But when I wanted to print the data or I wanted to take the input from the user, so in that case, how you can do it? Can you use printf and scanf? So no, we cannot use printf and scanf here. Is it okay? Printf and scanf are used in procedural programming. We are focusing on object-oriented programming. So here we cannot use printf and scanf procedures. Fine. So in that case, we have to use the classes and their objects. And which are those? So I will show you here. I have to use a class. I have to use a class. I'm including that file here, iostream.h. This iostream is a class which is having some object defined inside it. This is inbuilt class which is there in your compiler, which is known to your compiler. Is it okay? Why I'm including this here? Because with the help of the object of iostream class, I can access the data. मतलब आप डेटा को प्रिंट कर सकते हो, इनपुट ले सकते हो. So for that we are having the iostream. Input output stream. iostream is a base class. From iostream, there are two more classes. One is istream and ostream. I will just write it here. Screen visible है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Stream.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So iStream is there and another is OStream. So you can say these two are the childs and this is in parent. Fine?
Dot H.
Sorry, beta? Sorry? Yeah.
Ocean dot H.
Okay. So these two are what? Child and this is a parent. So instead of including these two, what I have done is I have included only this one. Will it be okay? Instead of this two, I am including only iostream. Will it be okay? Yes,
Yeah.
it will be okay because it is a parent, right? So automatically all the properties will get inherited. So I don't need to write iStream and OStream differently. Rather than I will just include a iostream class directly. This is a what? Class. iostream is a class. आपका std and conio क्या था?
Header file.
Header file था मतलब क्या था? Header file था. This is also a header file. When I write it here as a .h, it becomes a header file.
Structure, ma'am.
Whether it was a structure, whether it was a
Library.
procedure, whether it was a
Library.
function. It was a library, okay.
Library.
हाँ, but वो एक function था, वो core था. stdio.h, conio.h, these all are nothing but the procedures, functions which are written in the C compiler internally. और वो हम कहीं पे जब include करते हैं, तो that becomes a header file. Similarly, iostream is a class which is written internally to my C++ compiler. To with the help of those objects, I can work with input and output. And when I'm using it in my own code, I'll be making it as a header file. Can I make my own header file? User defined?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
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 ma'am.
we can create. Yes, you can write down any code, and you can write down any code. You can just save it with the help of .h, and then you can include that in your different programs. So that becomes a header file. Okay. So this is way. Now this is the class. So मैंने आपको बोला I want to use this the A and B. I want to take the data from A and B. So what I will do? I will play with the objects of iostream. Now what are the objects of iostream? So there are two objects of iostream. One is cin and another is cout. Cin and cout. Cin मतलब when you wanted to take the input from the user through keyboard, you are going to use which object? Cin object. Cin object is an identifier is a keyword which is defined inside IOStream. Cout is again an object variable identifier which is defined inside IOStream class. Okay, and this cout is responsible for printing the data onto the screen. That is sending the data onto the monitor screen. Okay, and this is taking the data from your keyboard. So this is input and this is output. But how to use these keyboards? जैसे आप printf and scanf यूज करते थे, तो how you were writing, you were using, आप ऐसे लिखते थे printf, है ना, then something inside that, some statements you were writing, अगर आपको कुछ print करना था तो like this, isn't it?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
it was procedure oriented. So here printf, whenever this particular parenthesis is coming, that means it is a function. Scanf आप कैसे लिखते थे? Scanf was for your input. तो scanf आप कैसे लिखते थे? आप पहले specify करते थे whether your data is integer or not, and then you used to take the data from a particular location, right? So this was your input and this was your output. Similarly, we are going to play with this in terms of Cin and Cout. So let's see here. I wanted to access A and B. So how can I access A and B? So I want to take input from user. So I will write down Cin. I will use an operator here, that is, you have to press this. This symbol is there, no? Greater than, less than symbol is there. So you have to press this twice. And suppose I want to take A as an input, I will write down this. Next line में Cin B. This is also possible. अगर आप एक ही इसमें करना चाहते हो, so you can write down this also. So either this or this. So this is I'm taking the input from the user. This is operator is called as an extraction operator. This operator is called as an extraction operator. And then when I wanted to print the data, I will simply use cout A P. Or you can use cout. If I wanted to simply print for A, I will write down A. और अगर आपको differently print करना है तो आप differently लिखोगे. That's it. यहाँ तक समझ में आया आपको? A normal structure of your OOP program.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You A and B division understood? So I have to include in my header file, which is nothing but a class, base class of iStream and OStream. What is iOStream? iOStream is having the objects, variables, identifiers, which are nothing but Cin and Cout. These are the keywords. We cannot change. Huh? जैसे printf and scanf keyword थे, वैसे ही Cin and Cout, these are the keywords. But later we will going to see that in your maybe 5th or 6th unit we will see that can we create our own object. So that can also be possible. That I will tell you later. Okay. So this is about taking an input and output. So I have written a class. I have given any name to my class. Is it okay? Then here I have taken a data members declaration. आप यहाँ पे भी define कर सकते हो. अगर आपने लिखा int a is equals to 10 and b is equals to 20, that can also be possible. Then I am writing a void input function, any function, and I'm just taking the data from the user. Extraction and insertion. This operator is called as an insertion. Why it is insertion? Because it is inserting the data onto your screen. That's why it is insertion. Extraction, it is extracting the data from the user through keyboard. That's why it is extraction. And most importantly, ending of your class should be shown with the help of semicolon. I wish you understood till here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next part. So this was about the normal structure. Fine. Let's move ahead now. So this was about classes, objects, methods, and data members, that is attributes. Now, next topic is what are the principles of OOP? So there are many different principles, or you can say features of OOP. The first important feature is encapsulation. So if you remember, मैंने जब class बोला तब मैंने एक word use किया था that we are taking the medicines and we know about the capsule. Fine. So you can imagine that capsule. There are two different colors in that capsule. Partial color can be termed as a data member, and the partial one can be termed as a member function. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that is nothing but an encapsulation. Let me know कि आपको white board visible है क्या? I'm sharing a white board so that I will show you how it will look like. Visible है बेटा? All of
Ma'am,
you?
it is
No,
for
Ma'am,
now
no, ma'am.
only
Why
members of ORG
boarding
can
is
participate.
no, ma'am.
Soon you will be able to.
What? Not able to see?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No,
We are not
ma'am.
able-
No one.
Yes, ma'am. No.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You haven't logged in with your PCCOE login.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So
Directly
from
from
next
our
time, okay.
browser.
So from next time onwards, please try to log in with that so that it will be more, interactive. I'm trying to use the whiteboard which is available in the Teams. So from there, I will show you visualization that how that code, how that concept will look like. So not visible to you right now.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So I will stop sharing. Then I will move to the previous one only.
में इशू भी कर रहा है वहाँ पे
क्या?
मैम
Hello?
पीसीसीआई की आईडी से लॉगिन नहीं कर पा रहे हम लोग टीम्स पे
हाँ
हाँ, yes,
ठीक है,
ma'am, वो
देखते
भी
हैं
हो
उसको. PCCOE से लॉगिन नहीं कर पा रहे हो आप?
नो मैम, वो अकाउंट का कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, मतलब लॉगिन करने के बाद
No, ma'am.
ओके, अभी मेरा नॉर्मल पहले का स्क्रीन आपको विजिबल होगा.
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम, यस मैम.
So
Yes,
that is
yes,
what I
ma'am.
was talking about encapsulation. I tried actually for the visibility how it will look like, but let it be. So you can say class is an encapsulation. हमने यहाँ पे जो ड्रॉ किया ना कैप्सूल, आपने देखा होगा this one class, this one till this is encapsulation. आपने class लिखा, you are writing an you are including an opening curly brace and this is the ending. So you can say this is one capsule and half part is a data member, half part is a member function. So this is encapsulation. So what is an use of this encapsulation? What you can think? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone guess actually? You can raise your hand if you want to answer. What is an use of? What can be the benefit of this encapsulation? मतलब मैंने डेटा एंड मेंबर फंक्शन को क्लास के अंदर डाला है. सो व्हाट कैन बी बेनिफिट एडवांटेज?
Ma'am, different parts of our code remain separate and they don't mix up.
You are talking about modular programming.
So that our data should not be exposed. Some of our
Very
data,
good.
partial
Very
data.
good.
To hide the
Very good.
implementation of
Yes,
the data.
yes. Very good. Very good. So what you people are doing here, what we people are doing here, I'm writing something inside this class, which is other than my main function. So I'm hiding something inside this. So this is encapsulation. I'm giving access to my data. जो बाहर का user है, मैं उसको access नहीं दूंगी या दूंगी, it depends on my, it depends on the user, whether it wants to give the access or not. So that is, I'm providing the full access, maybe in the private mode, maybe in the public mode to my data. Is it okay? So I'm hiding my important data so that unnecessarily no one can access my data and my data can be more secure. So hence security is a major advantage of object oriented programming. So this was about encapsulation. Then the next principle is abstraction. And what do you mean by abstraction basically? So when we are talking about an object oriented programming, we are saying that class is an abstract data type. So why it is? Actually, when we are talking about a data abstraction, all the details are not known to the user. जो मैंने आपको अभी क्लास में बताया, only important details are only going to like I can hide my important details, but I can show off the unimportant one. मतलब अगर A and B को मुझे hide करना है, so I will make it as in private. But अगर कोई दूसरा variable है x and y और उसका डेटा मुझे शो ऑफ करना है, so I will make it as in public. आप एग्जाम्पल ले लो, अगर एम्प्लॉय सैलरी का कोई एप्लीकेशन है, फाइन, सो एम्प्लॉय के जो बाकी के डिटेल्स है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल नेम, एज, फाइन, फोन नंबर, दोज डिटेल्स यू वांट टू शो टू द यूजर, so other users. So what you will do, you will make those particular data visible to other user. But अगर सैलरी आपको हाइड करनी है, तो what you will do, you will make that salary as an private. मतलब important thing you had made hidden from the other user. So this is an abstraction. You are taking your decision that whether you are showing off the important details or not. You are hiding your important details. So this is what we are talking about, the abstraction. The third feature is inheritance. मैंने अभी आपको यहाँ पे बोला that we are having an IOStream class. And IOStream is a parent class. उसके दो child classes है, iStream and OStream. मतलब यहाँ पे parent and child का relationship है. So this relationship is called as an inheritance. That's it. This you already know about it, fine. But what is inheritance? In how it is implemented in your programming, that is C++. So inheritance is basically a reusability, you can say. Like I am having one class, maybe a class 1. It is having some data. In the same code, I am writing another class, maybe class 2. Fine. Now I want that some members I don't want to rewrite in class 2. Rather, I want that I can use the members of class 1 directly, excluding the external members of class 2. So in that case, I can derive one class from another class. I can create a relationship. One class can be a parent, one class can be a child class. So that kind of relationship is called as an inheritance. And here we can say the reusability concept came into existence. I'll show you. I'm writing one class. For example, class 1. And this is the ending of my class. Immediately after that, I'm writing class 2. Fine. And here I'm taking some variable, maybe integer A and B. I'll play with those variables. In class 2, I want to use A and B. And I have some more details also, X and maybe Y. Now you can see A and B is here also, A and B is here also. Their values may be same. But what is a drawback in this kind of code? Unnecessarily, memory is going to get wasted. Fine. So these kind of things like rewriting can be avoided. So what I will do? I will make this class 2 as in child class and this class as in parent class. Now how to make this class as a parent and how to make this class as a child? So for that we have to make use of base class and parent class relationship, that is inheritance. So that can be done with the help of an semicolon. And there is a syntax for creating an inheritance. But to avoid this kind of thing, repetition, I am just making a relationship here with the help of semicolon. One class can be a parent, another class can be a child, and this rewriting can be excluded. So how my class can look like afterwards? I will just exclude this and now I will have only X and Y in my class. But when I am making this as a child of this, class 2 can have an access to this A and B and also to X and Y. But I am not rewriting the variables here. So I am reusing the variables which are declared in 1. I am reusing them in class 2 also. Fine. So this is the concept of what we are talking about, maybe inheritance. The advantages can be you can write down one function in base class, but you can use that function number of times in your code. अगर आपके 10 child classes है तो आप 10 child class में वो एक member function को use कर सकते हो. Fine. Your lines of code is going to get decreased here, so the execution time is going to get decreased, right? So these are the certain advantages of inheritance. Next, polymorphism. Now the term polymorphism, it is having two words actually, poly and morph, matlab many forms. So in programming, in object-oriented programming language, what we have as in like I can write down one function, fine, one same name function, but number of times I can write down that function. Matlab same name function I can use number of times, but definition is different. The definitions can be different, but the name of the function can be same. In that case, that concept is called as an polymorphism. One function name, but in different many forms. In the similar way, you can work with the operators also. Like you know about plus, minus, these all are the arithmetic operators, logical operators, fine. Then binary operators. So these are the different operators which are there, which we use to work on in the mathematics. So you know, plus is for addition. Plus is a binary operator. Why? Because it has two operands. Plus is a unary operator because it has only one operand. Fine. So can I overload this operator? Can I say that I can use plus with many different forms? We know that plus can be used with only arithmetic. I can do 1 plus 2 only. Can I do O plus N? Can anyone tell me? Can I do O plus N or A plus B? Where A and B are not the integer, float or double. Plus is an arithmetic operator, right? So plus can be used only with the operands of arithmetic types. That means plus can be used with a maybe 1, 2, any arithmetic number. Or I'll show it here. Board is not there, no? So see, plus is an operator. This plus can be used with 1 and 2, any arithmetic number. You can use this for integer a plus integer b. Okay, but if I'm writing here, this is a computer class. So if I'm writing here computer a plus computer b, whether it will work?
No, ma'am.
No, because plus doesn't understand that the operands are arithmetic or not. Sorry, plus only understand the operands as an arithmetic one. It doesn't understand the operands with the different data type. यहाँ पे इनबिल्ट है तो प्लस को पता है आई कैन ऐड दीज टू नंबर्स. यहाँ पे भी इनबिल्ट है मतलब इंटीजर है तो प्लस कैन डू द एडिशन. बट यहाँ पे जब आप देखोगे सो द ऑपरेंड्स ऑफ प्लस आर ऑफ यूजर डिफाइंड टाइप, which is not possible. So this type of thing that is called as an overloading this operator. Earlier my plus was only working for inbuilt data type, but now my plus can work for user defined data type also. So this becomes my operator overloading or operator polymorphism. मतलब one operator can be used with many different forms. आप सिंपल अभी बेसिक्स भी आपको मतलब if you understand it that is also okay because we are having this individual concept as an individual unit, so you will get in the depth of it. But आपको अगर concept समझ में आया then also it's okay. So what are the different principles or the features? Encapsulation, data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Including this, there are many more. For example, template, generic programming, exception handling, data binding. Fine. These all are nothing but the different features of object-oriented programming. Security is one of the aspects. So you can write down by your own also. That once you will go into programming, no, you will understand that what are the features that we can talk about when we are going to compare it with the normal procedural program. Now, what are the examples of OOP? So we all know C++, Java, these are the examples. Python is again a good example of OOP. Yesterday I told you VB.NET, C#.NET, these are also the examples of your programming languages, that is OOP programming languages. Ruby, then Scala also, now the industries they are working with. Fine, JavaScript can also be a programming language, object-oriented programming language only. PHP, they all are nothing but they are forming under the category of object-oriented programming. So benefits, modularity it provides. Someone just told me that when I asked a query that the code will be divided into the modules. So modularity is the advantage of OOP. आप number of classes लिख सकते हो, classes के modules बना सकते हो, and from that those classes will only get access from your name. Fine. So it looks very, very decent type of coding when we are writing by using an classes and objects. So hence it is a modularity. The second benefit is reusability. So inheritance I told you. Fine. So inheritance is nothing but a reusability. Parent class में आपने already लिखा है, आपको उसको बस use करना है. So that becomes a reuse of the code. Next is productivity. Fine. कि अगर programmers है, so whether they can construct the new programs quicker. So the answer is yes. Programmers can build the new programs quicker from the earlier, or from the multiple libraries which are available. So that is the better productivity is there. Then easily upgradable and the scalable. Scalable means I can extend my code to any limit. If I'll extend the class, I'll extend the objects, functionalities. So I will say it is upgradable and scalable. Interface descriptions is again one of the benefit of it. Like the descriptions of the external systems are simple due to message passing. Now, what do you mean by message passing? See, when I have declared a function in my example, I have declared a function here input. When I am going to give call to this function from my main, मैं जब main से इस function को call करूँगी, that particular process is known as a message passing. मतलब passing the control from one portion of a code to the another portion of a code. So that is message passing. आप main से class में जा रहे हो, so that is message passing. So message passing is happening in C++ by using or through member functions. Then security I told you, fine, data hiding is there, so security is there, fine. Flexibility of a code is there, polymorphism you have, inheritance you have, exception handling you have. There are many different types of techniques that we can use. Ready-made libraries are also there, fine. So that can also be used when we talk about the object-oriented programming. So that's why flexibility is there. See, if I'll ask you to write a code for an array, what you will do? You will start writing with the code from main. आप array declare करोगे, size declare करोगे, data input लोगे, looping लगाओगे, data output लोगे. Every time you are going to do this. But in C++, I have that concept also, that I have a ready-made class which is inbuilt class. For example, array is a class. I can use that array. And by using that array, I can work with my array programming. Simply, I have to use a class array, and I'm having the algorithms of that class also inbuilt. I just have to use it. मतलब उसको call करना है, and my code will be executed. So this kind of programming can possible is only in C++. That is object-oriented programming. Even in Java, we don't have STL. Okay. Next is what are the different programming paradigms which are there and which programming languages they are falling in those category. So this is the last topic we will cover for today. So what are the different programming paradigms? Actually, programming paradigms are nothing but we just said procedural and object oriented. So these are the programming paradigms. Declarative programming, rule-based programming. These all are nothing but what? Programming paradigms. And inside that, we are categorizing our programming languages. So the first programming paradigm is it's nothing but the architecture or the base. It will provide you, find a structure. You all are getting what I'm saying about?
Yes, ma'am.
Or is it getting faster? It is getting faster. Is it okay?
No.
It's okay, ma'am.
Okay. So the first one is imperative programming paradigm. So what is it? Basically, it is the oldest one. आपकी जो पुरानी languages थी, मतलब the languages maybe Prolog, C, they all comes in the category of imperative programming languages. It was simply based on the first architecture. You might have learned that in your, CPPS also, von Neumann architecture. एक CPU है, you are having ALU inside it, how the data is coming through the registers, how the data is going out of it onto the output devices. So that is a simple von Neumann architecture. Fine. How the data is processed, they are least bothered about it. So that kind of simple architecture is nothing but imperative programming languages. Step by step, the instruction which is coming first, that will be executed first. Is it okay? So here the main focus is just to get or just to, like achieve whatever input I have given, I want an output. But how I am getting that output, how much time is required, whether my data is secured or not, those things are not focused in the imperative programming. So it was very lengthy and very simple to implement basically. Fine. Only loopings were used. Like आपके C में आपने loops use किया था. So that's why we are saying that C, your earlier languages like Fortran, like Prologs, COBOL, these all languages they were coming in the category of imperative one. But अगर आपको parallel programming करना है, networking का कोई application बनाना है, can I work with imperative one? No, I cannot use that kind of the programming paradigm for this. So for for complex operations, I cannot rely on imperative kind of programming. The second is procedural. We have already discussed about procedural. We are knowing that C is falling under that category. Why? Because the code is divided into the procedures or the functions. Fine. But though it is a good approach, but still some cons are still there. Like we have seen the advantages of C++. So those are the drawbacks of your procedural programming. Next is object oriented. We just saw what is object oriented. It provides security, inheritance, reusability, that is through inheritance, flexibility of a code, hiding of your data, right? Polymorphism, exception handling. So everything is there in your object oriented programming. So the languages like C++, Python, Java, .NET, they are coming in the category of object-oriented. Next is declarative one. Now, declarative kind of programming can be used for the application जहाँ आपको robotic application अगर आपको करना है rule based, like fine, like I want to give instructions to my robot. If I'm having a robot application, I want to give the instruction to my robot, that is walk straight for 5 minutes and then move right. So such kind of instructions I will write in my own words. So those instructions, they are coming in the category of declarative programming. Fine. So highly the complex type of systems can be used. Machine learning applications, they can use declarative kind of programming. R programming you might have heard. So that is an example of a declarative programming. So rule based programming, these are nothing but an example of declarative programming. Next is functional programming. Functional programming can come as a category under your procedural programming. Here your whole code is divided into the number of functions, execution series, like all the functions, they are just executed as in mathematical functions or the theorems. Just as in procedure by procedure, here we are just including function by functions. Looping will be there. Instructions are executed one by one. So this is a simple function-oriented programming. All the languages, they are coming in the function-oriented because every language will have a function as one of the modules. So C, C++, Java, .NET, all the languages, they are nothing but they are the function programming paradigm. And the next one is logic programming paradigm. So here, suppose I'm playing one game, fine. अगर मुझे चेस गेम का मतलब चेस गेम बनाना है, I want to develop an application for a chess game. How can I develop? How can I write a code for that? Whether C++ will be okay or some different kinds of rules I have to define. अगर user को मुझे बताना है that I am having the one of the horse there, how the movements of that horse will be. So if the user has selected that horse, how that user has to, how he can travel. So I have to write a rule for that movement of that particular horse. Right, 2.5. So either he will move straight to, then he will take a right or left. If I have to work with an elephant, how the movement will be. So this is a logic that is depending on what the user can think, how he will think, and what he want at the end. Depending on this, I have to just imagine that what kind of imagination user is having, application user is having, and I will write my code. This code will come in the category of logic programming. I'm just considering the user, वो कैसा, इसका perception कैसा है और मैं खुद का code लिख रही हूँ. AI based आप बोलते हो ना, machine learning and all. So those will come. If and else के format में मैं लिख सकती हूँ. Not required in case of just like your classes and object. So I will simply write dot if this, then this. So this can be my logic programming paradigm. यहाँ पे मैंने एक एग्जांपल भी दिया है, but the Prolog, because Prolog is the best example of logical programming. Prolog is used for the applications which are basically working with the technology artificial intelligence, isn't it? So even though if you want to work on the artificial intelligence, Prolog is not necessary. I'm saying it is one of the language. I can work with Java also. We can work with MATLAB. We can work with Java. We can implement this logic programming inside our object-oriented programming. That can be possible. Why? Because object-oriented programming, it provides me certain internal classes or the libraries, with the help of which I can just integrate that with my logic programming, with the rule-based programming, and I can implement any AI kind of application. So these were nothing but different programming paradigms which we have seen. Fine, there are 6 categories of programming paradigms, but more than that are also there. I will provide you I'm going to provide you the notes. So we discussed about the programming paradigms, which languages which are coming in those categories. Then we discussed about the benefits of OOP, and then what are the various features or the principles. Principles are nothing but the features, right? And we discussed about the structure or the building block of OOP. Till this, any doubt is there?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So how to write a code, how to start a code. So once you will write try to write a code, आप पहले include करोगे IOStream, because it is a basic thing. वो class जब तक आप include नहीं करोगे, you cannot take the input and output, you cannot display the output. So उसके लिए आपको IOStream लगेगा. One more thing, जब आप ये चीज करोगे like IOStream and OFstream, तो आपको namespace include करना पड़ेगा, and for that reason you have to write down using namespace std. What do you mean by this line? Sorry. Okay, what do you mean by this line? See, namespace is the global area where all the standard identifiers are declared. I'm saying declared, not defined. Cin is an identifier, Cout is an identifier, your input becomes an identifier, void keyword is an identifier, int is an identifier, class is an identifier. Every keyword which is coming here, like Cout, Cin, A, B, everything, they are nothing but the identifiers. Where they are declared in a big area. They are declared in a big area, and that big area or the memory lookalike is called as an STD, that is standard library. But how to include that? So in C++, we include that by using namespace standard. That means एक standard नाम का बड़ा सा memory है sorry, वहां पे सारे identifiers declared है. I'm saying declared है, not defined. They are defined in their individual classes. Cin and Cout यहाँ पे defined and declared दोनों है. But उसका अगर definition, उसका declaration जो है वो सबसे पहले आपके namespace standard में आएगा. And for that reason, we have to include writing our code. Fine. अगर आप ये नहीं लिखोगे using namespace standard, so it will give you an error in Eclipse. So for that reason I told you, otherwise I forgot maybe. So now it understood. So firstly you will just write your class which contains Cin and Cout object. Then you will include a standard namespace where all the identifiers in your code are declared. Fine. And then you are going to write your class and the definition of the class. That's it. Today I didn't told you how to access a class, how to access a main. That we'll see in the next class. So is it okay for today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
मैम पॉसिबल
Yes.
हुआ तो ये डॉक्यूमेंट
Yes, ma'am.
क्योंकि अभी हम लोग के पास रेफरेंस के लिए कुछ नहीं है ना, तो फिर ऐसा बाद में दोगे तो फिर कुछ याद नहीं आएगा.
अच्छा, तो जो पहले का डॉक्यूमेंट है मेरा, वो अभी मैं भेजती हूँ आपको. दिस इज आई एम वर्किंग ऑन इट, सो पार्शियली आई विल नॉट सेंड दिस, बट जो प्रीवियस है दैट आई विल सेंड यू.
चलेगा.
सिमिलर है, थोड़े मॉडिफिकेशंस आई एम डूइंग इट. एवरी ईयर सम मॉडिफिकेशंस आर कमिंग, नो, सो दैट्स व्हाई.
ओके मैम.
Okay. Don't leave. I'll take your attendance.
और मैम जो वो सिलेबस के डॉक्यूमेंट में जो रेफरेंस बुक दिया था ना बालागुरु स्वामी का, उसमें C++ का बुक दिया है, तो फिर उसमें ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड का नहीं आएगा ना?
C++
ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड
is an object oriented only.
में बट उसमें
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 concepts भी
लैंग्वेज के
है।
बारे में सिखाया है ना मैम?
किसके बारे में आपने पढ़ा वो?
नहीं, कंटेंट्स देखे ना मैम, तो सिलेबस से
हाँ।
थोड़ा डिफरेंट था।
नहीं कंटेंट्स डिफरेंट हो ही नहीं सकते बेटा। सी हम थियरी नहीं पढ़ रहे ना, हम सिंपल थियरी नहीं पढ़ रहे। आई कैन नॉट टेल यू दैट क्लास डेफिनेशन। मुझे साइड बाय साइड आपको क्लास का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन भी बताना पड़ेगा। वही चीज बालगुरु स्वामी में दिया है।
ओके मैम।
दैट इज द बेस्ट बुक यू पीपल कैन रेफर, बिकॉज C++ जो हम ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग पढ़ रहे हैं, दिस इज स्पेसिफिकली टू C++. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू स्टडी ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जावा, राइट?
ओके
So
मैम।
my aim is that you people will get thorough knowledge of object-oriented programming language, which is C++. I'm not going to waste time only on object-oriented programming concepts. Concepts clear करना मेरा काम है, but उसके अलावा programming भी आपको आना चाहिए with respect to C++. The reason is in PBL, no one is going to take your lab as in like वो आपको assignment बताएंगे और आप करोगे. It is expected that OOP faculty will explain you the concept and the implementation also कि class कैसे implement होगा, that I will tell you, and you have to apply that in your PBL. It is project based learning, not the lab of OOP, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay beta. So Balguru Swami is the best book you all can refer. Fine. उनके बुक्स में आपको पूरा बेसिक से दिया होता है। अगर आपको कोडिंग समझ में आ गया ना, ऑल कॉन्सेप्ट्स यू विल गेट। एनकैप्सुलेशन आपको कब समझ में आएगा? जब आपको क्लास समझ में आएगा। बराबर है?
ओके मैम, ठीक है।
थियरी तो वैसे ही समझ में आ जाता है बेटा, बट जब आप प्रैक्टिकली देखोगे तो आपको ज्यादा थियोरेटिकल नॉलेज भी समझ में आएगा। यू नो, दोनों थिंग्स डिपेंडेंट है एक दूसरे पे। जब तक इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करोगे मजा भी नहीं आएगा और समझ में भी नहीं आएगा। Am I right?
Yes ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes beta.
can we do Java then object oriented programming?
No, we don't have that in the syllabus ना। syllabus में क्या है? सिलेबस में क्या है आपको? आप पूरा सिलेबस अगर आपका देखोगे SY BTech का, आपको कहीं पे जावा है क्या इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में? सेम 1 में कौन था ये बंदा? हेलो बेटा, आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा ना? हेलो।
Yes ma'am.
हाँ, आपके पूरे सिलेबस में आपको दिखा क्या कहीं पे? जावा दिखा क्या?
No ma'am.
तो फिर जावा क्यों पढ़ेंगे?
सिलेबस में C++ भी नहीं है शायद, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग लिखा है सिर्फ।
मैं पूछ रही हूँ SY BTech का पूरा सिलेबस, SY BTech का सेम 1 का जो सिलेबस है उसमें कहीं पे जावा है क्या? मैंने OOP का नहीं बोला बेटा। उसमें कहीं पे जावा है? फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में SY BTech, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट OOP सिलेबस, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट SY BTech सिलेबस। नहीं है ना? तुम बाद में देख लेना, ठीक है? वी डोंट हैव जावा इन दिस सेमेस्टर, यू हैव जावा इन द नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर। सो जब आप कोई प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस पढ़ते हो तो थोड़ा सा लाइनअप पे पढ़ते हैं। जैसे आपका C हो चुका है, in this semester in the syllabus of our autonomy we have C++, so let's study C++. In the next semester you might have Java, so in that semester we are going to learn about Java. पहले आप यहाँ पे OOP के concepts clear करो with C++ side by side, और उसी को आपको extend करना है Java में, so that it will be more easy for you to implement in Java. So next semester तक आपका core Java भी complete हो जाएगा। अगर कंसेप्ट ही समझ में नहीं आया, सो यू कैन नॉट डायरेक्टली गो विद जावा। जावा इज वेरी वास्ट, राइट? कोर जावा पढ़ के कोई मतलब नहीं है फिर।
Ma'am, I said because I'm already familiar with everything.
Sorry, why your voice is breaking? Hello. Yes, other students can leave. Those who are having doubts, they can stay back.
Ma'am, attendance.
I took the attendance beta.